Good morning. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday and it feels like a Friday. It is February 11th. And I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I got home yesterday and I just wanted to fall asleep. I mean, I barely got anything done last night when I got home, but I think it's because I had a really productive day at school. I wrote absolutely everything down in my planner and just started coloring in the little check boxes as I finished it off, and I got a lot done. But the second that I would finish something, I would have to add something else to the list. And what happened is I ran out of room on that day's planner, or on that day's scheduling section, and it just bled into Tuesday. And I was just like, you know what, that makes sense. That's just how my life goes. Whatever doesn't get done today will get done tomorrow, and my planner is setting me up for success. So I've only got 3 things left to get done today on my planner, and I promise by the end of the day I will definitely have more. But right now, that's where we're at. I'm heading off to school. It is 5:49, so I'm gonna go to PJ's. I'm gonna get my coffee and possibly a muffin if they have the muffins today. I'm getting a cranberry orange muffin, and it's just gonna make my day start amazing. We're gonna go do that, and then I get to school, and in the mornings, I share a room with a co-teacher, so I don't really like making videos in the room at the same time that we're both trying to get things done. And by the time I get to school, I really only have about 20 minutes before my first kiddo kind of shows up, and he's a rowdy one. If you didn't know, my name is Sierra Sepulveda, and I teach special education inclusion for a group of lovely 4th graders, but we have a large number of 4th graders this year in or at my school, and that is where I live. I live in the 4th grade world with my inclusion students, and I have a couple of kids who are really rowdy and who need an extra special start to their day, so they come and see me in the mornings, and we do a morning affirmations worksheet where they get to choose 2 of their favorite affirmations, or they get to make one up, and we read through them and we go over it, and they put that aside, and each of them gets on everybody gets on Lexia, which is a program my school pays for that works on phonics and reading skills, which is something a lot of my students are still struggling with. But it kind of self-paces them after they take the diagnostic. It puts them in a certain place, and then they play games to help them learn sight words and phonics and fluency and things like that. And I really, really enjoy it, because my favorite part about it is when I go online and I look at my teacher dashboard version of it, off on the right-hand side, I can click the printout version of their thing, and it's different activities that I can do sitting with them to see if they're actually grasping what they're doing. And then on the teacher dashboard, it actually has these little bar graphs for each skill they're learning that in that section, and I can see how they're doing, how many times they had to repeat a lesson. So it'll double dot next to each other on the graph. It just keeps going up until they have to repeat a lesson. If they repeat more than twice, then the whole graph turns yellow the 3rd time they do it. And then after that, it'll turn red, and it'll flag the student saying that they need to have one-on-one support with this before they come back and try it again. And hopefully at that point, then they'll move on. The online work is independent, and then you work with the kids one-on-one or in small group on the skills that they're struggling on, or on the skills that they're working on, and it just kind of helps reinforce it. And I love it. It's been phenomenal, and it's been a godsend, and it just makes my whole life happy. But that is what I'm headed to do right now if I get free time, which I don't normally get free time during the day. I wish I had free time in the mornings or the afternoons or any time. I'll talk to y'all again. But if that doesn't happen, then after my kids leave for tutoring, or after my kids leave from tutoring, I will check back in and let y'all know how the day goes. Bye. Guys, I'm gonna let you know that it is hard to be a teacher. If you're not a teacher, then you can get it without getting it, but my fellow teachers, it is hard to do our job some days. And my fellow special education teachers, it is extremely difficult to do our job some days. And today I am having one of those days. I have one of those really lucky days where all of my students have other activities that are going on in their inclusion classes. So I have a work day. I have a paperwork day, which is phenomenal. I pulled my kids this morning and we did our interventions this morning for the most part, and I will come back at the end of the day and I will do our second round of interventions in the afternoon. But I am not in the classroom with my students today because they have a really weird off schedule. They are not doing their typical classes. We've got the middle school over playing math games with them today, so that's really exciting for them. And it was really exciting for me because I get to get a lot of paperwork done. It is IEP season here in Mississippi, here in my school district. We do them all at the end of the year to prepare them for next year. So we are writing next year's IEPs for all of our students right now. And I have 8 kids on my caseload, and we've got to get them all done. So I've been back and forth with the school they'll be going to next year. My 4th graders go to a 5th and 6th grade academy next year, and we're holding all their IEP meetings there. So last week I talked to their special education teachers, and we came up with goals that would be appropriate for my kiddos, and we came up with accommodations that would work for them in 4th and 5th grade, or in 5th and 6th grade. So I'm in the process of getting all that done. We also have a new program that we're putting our IEPs into. So instead of typing them up on documents like we have been, we are going to be inputting them into a new system. So to say I'm a little bit busy would be an understatement. I'm very, very busy. But I just had one of those hard moments where, like, I was given a concern by an administrator that some of my sped students aren't making the grades that they should be making, and that those students must obviously not be in the correct placement if they're not passing with their accommodations. And I had to find a very polite ways of explaining that it's still the student's job to get their work done. My accommodations and the work that I give them just makes it possible. What they do with it is on them. There are gen ed students who fail for no other reason than because they're not doing the work. Just because a student is in special education does not mean they get an automatic free pass. Their accommodations do not make it so that they will always pass their classes. And it's not my job to pass them on or to change their placement every time they don't do a good job somewhere. It's my job to assess them and keep track of their data and help them as much as possible and bridge gaps that they have. But what they do after that is completely up to them, which means sometimes they fail. And it's a life lesson kids learn, and there's nothing wrong with it. But we'll see how the rest of the day goes. I'm going to get back to paperwork. I just took a second to breathe and talk to y'all, because that's needed too as a teacher. A breath, a moment to breathe. I forget to do that sometimes. I know that's not just a me thing. Like, I know that's an everybody teacher thing, and I'm sure y'all have the same problems when you have a very, like, high frequency stress day or a high stress day. You just forget to breathe. So you start, like, moving so fast that you forget to remind yourself to, like, calm down, slow down. Like, you don't have to rush through all of these things. You can take your time and get as much done as you get it done. I'm checking off boxes left and right in my planner. We'll see what else I can get checked off today. Talk to you guys later. Hey everybody, it's the end of the day. I am exhausted. It is 4:41. Tutoring ended at 4 o'clock. I had 3 kiddos stay with me, and we worked on multiplication right now. My 4th graders are really, really struggling with it, so we're doing multiplication wars. I made all of these cards. So each deck is just, so like this is the 11s deck, and it's 13 facts in the 11s family, 0 to 12. And they practice it for a minute. When they think they're ready, they come over and I quiz them on it. They have to get all of them in under a minute. And if they do, then I check it off and they can move on to another one. We are starting at 1 and going on to 12. You would be surprised how many of my kids had to go redo their 2s, 3s, and 10s because they know the facts, but they're doing them too slowly. So we're working on speed and accuracy with our multiplication facts. And then we also work on phonics, but we didn't get a chance to get to that today. I'm going to have to refine my tutoring schedule. I only get an hour with them. And then after we got all the kids sent off, I have a really messy desk. Like, it's really messy, and I really want to organize all of these. I've got little I don't know. I know I've got something in here that I could hang these from. Like these aren't hooks like your typical circle hooks. These are shower hangers I got from Dollar General. There were 12 in a pack and I had 12 sets. So I just bought 2 packs. It was really nice. And now they're going to hang on like a shower rod, which I actually have a lot of. I just have to find a spot away from where the children regularly get to put them so that the kids don't just walk up and touch things that they're not supposed to, because Lord knows with the number of children from all grade levels that come through this room, I would rather them not just go and pull my multiplication cards off of random decks. So for right now, they just live in a baggie on my desk. I got a lot of paperwork done. Like I said, when I talked to you earlier today, I have literally just been sitting at my desk getting paperwork done and paperwork done and paperwork done. I have a planner. Actually, this is my lovely planner. I had a friend of mine make me this beautiful leather case to go on my planner. And I filled up. So I'll find an empty section. So this is what the week looks like. And I absolutely love it. It's got early morning and then 8 to 5 and then later afternoon. I filled up an entire day and then part of the next day and got everything done except for one thing. And that one thing is something that I'm going to continually have to keep working on. It's the new IEP system, and Lord knows there's no matter how many hours are in a day, you are not getting 8 IEPs written up in one day on a brand new system. I don't know what God can do that, but it's not me. I am not that person. But I stayed after these last 45 minutes to get some iReady worksheets printed out and the quizzes printed out, because I've got a couple of kiddos who are not understanding fractions. I pulled them today to work on it, to work and reteach this lesson that they're working on. And we couldn't tell me the difference between a whole number and a fraction. Like, I named off a number and I was like, is it a whole number or a fraction? And I had kids not able to do that. And then I was like, well, maybe they know if I ask them what's a whole number. They were giving me fractions. So we're going to work on that. We're going to start the whole fraction unit over, is what's about to happen. And that little small group is going to work with me, and they won't move on. They won't move on in my remediation group until they've got that. They'll obviously keep moving on in class so that they don't fall behind. But when they're working with me, we will keep it. We're just going to keep hitting those skills, because it's a big skill. It's something they need to understand. And if I can get a concrete understanding now, then they won't struggle as much in middle school. So that's what I've been doing. That's how the day has gone. That's kind of where we're at. I am right now packing up. I'm putting my iPad in here into my backpack. I am putting my pens. I got these erasable pens and I love them. They're going in here. We're going to zip those up, and they belong in this backpack as well. My planner belongs in this front pocket. And then that part gets zipped up. And then I would put my paper, this, in here, but I have to pick up all of those papers that I printed off for iReady. I need to pick up and put them in there, and then I'll put them in here. Guys, look at what one of my children did. And right now I'm smiling and I have a very happy voice, so you probably think that it's something like super cute and awesome and like super sweet. Background: I have a kiddo who struggles with comprehension. They have to have AR points. We've modified the AR score so that he does not have to make as much as his gen ed peers, because comprehension is where we struggle. To help, I made this lovely sheet here. It's an AR book summary. It's backwards to you. Hang on. My AR book summary, they write their title, they write the author, the AR number, the testing number, and their points. And then this tells them how to summarize a chapter in their very first chapter. After they read the first chapter, they should use character names, specific events that have happened in that chapter, and how the characters felt. And just write me a couple of sentences right there. And then the next page is the exact same thing, except I took away the what summarizing the chapter means, because it's on the front page. They'll write down the chapter that they read, and then they'll give me a quick summary. Well, the problem with this, one of my kids started it. Do you already see what's wrong with this? One of my kids started his. I read over it. He said he was ready to test, so I started reading through. And he did not use details. So when I told him that he would have to redo it, and he only went to chapter 5. When I told him that he didn't have to redo it, but he needed to add in at least one more sentence that it had the most important thing that happened in that chapter, and that I'd come back and we would test afterwards, he did not. He decided to instead rip it in half. So the kids are all yelling, Miss S, Miss S, Miss S, get back in here, get back. He's ripping it. I walked back in and I said, okay, that's all right. I said, that's all right. No worries. I'll take this one. I'll make you a new one. I have tons and tons of these. I'll bring you a new packet. And when you filled it out correctly, or you've asked for help so you can fill it out correctly, then we will AR test. Until that is done, you are not allowed to AR test. That all seems a little harsh. I will tell you why this student is doing this. This student is using this AR book summary because he is tested on 22 books in the past 4 weeks and failed all of them but 4. Yeah. So we had to try something else. This is that something else. I can't sit there and read every single page with him. He is completely capable of reading. Sorry, the lights are automatic and it sensed a fly or me moving and it turned on. But he's completely capable, and I'm an annoying special education teacher who forces him to do the work on his own. He's capable of reading by himself. His struggle is honestly focus. And so we're working on that. And finding key details, and that's a really hard task for everybody to do, but he has an especially hard time, and he likes to just pick out a couple of words that he's seen on the first page of each chapter and write them down. Do you like my new fidget? There I go, being a little easily distracted as well. This is my new fidget. It's not really a fidget, but it's become my fidget. So all day today, this is on my lanyard. I've just been walking around, and it's odd how satisfying this is and how relaxing it is. Even if I'm not looking at it, to just do this. We're all a little sped at heart. All right. Well, so far that has been my day. Paperwork. I even made these lovely little packets. So each of these packets has, I'm not turning it around because I have kids' names on the front, but each of these packets has a prior written notice and invitation. No, invitations went home for IEP meetings. My prior written notices got filled out, or pre-filled out, and then I'll add in anything else at the meeting that we need to add in if we change it. It has an agenda that we use at our IEP meetings. It has procedural safeguards for families, and then it has something called an ESA. Here in Mississippi, there's a scholarship that parents of students that have special needs can apply for, and it grants them a certain amount of money so that they can enroll their student in a private school or pay for an extra tutor or buy books and things like that if a parent would rather put their kid in a private school. It is not guaranteed, but it's something that we offer our parents here in Mississippi if that's an option that they want to look at. So I did that for every single one of my students. Their IEPs aren't until the first week of March, so I've got three-ish weeks until then, but all of these are set up and ready to go. Invitations have been sent home. Parents have been talked to. I have a lovely little spreadsheet. I got IEPs. All their binders are ready to go and set up. I double check that everything's in the right order. Tomorrow, the big thing I have to do is scan in any of my students who have had a reevaluation this year or who went through the MET process, which is the process that we use to get them into special education if tier 3 data shows that it has not been working, or that they need something a little more intense. So all of that has to be scanned into a single PDF, like all scanned in on once instead of separate sheets, so that they can just click and have everything all at once, which means I have to find all those papers and make sure, like, get them out of the lovely little order they're in their IEPs and put them through a scanner and then put them back into their IEPs. And I'm not gonna have a day tomorrow like I had today where I have all of the like free time to just sit here and get that done. But that's okay. So that kind of concludes my day. I'm going to keep this just as student evidence because we've been having a lot of these temper tantrums lately, and we're a little too big to be having these temper tantrums, and there's honestly no reason for them. He doesn't have a reason for them. Some of my students do, and that's cool. I think he's watched a few too many of them get, I don't know, I think he thinks that they're getting away with these temper tantrums, and they don't. Their punishments, well, they're not even punishments, but their consequences are different, and they're handled differently because they need it. He doesn't. He knows better. And I have talked about it. I have tried it the other ways and it doesn't work. So we have moved to just, you're a big kid. You can do this. I'm not going to yell at you. You will receive the consequence and you will get a new one. That's where we're at. And that seems to be working okay right now. I'm pushing him to be independent. It's a whole job. But I will talk to you later because I need to go pick those papers up off of the printer and get them into here so that I can go home, and then I need to call back. I need to call back somebody. I know somebody called me. It's been that kind of day. All right, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat. I'll talk to you all later. Hey guys, my name is Sierra Sepulveda. This is the very first video that I am posting. It's just one day, and it is what it is because it was kind of long. I tend to ramble, and I'm working on that. So I'm super excited to get this out there because I want to start doing this regularly, at least once a week, and see where this takes me. I watch teacher tuber videos literally all the time. It's what I do in my free time. It's what helps relax me. It's what I do to kind of jog and get fresh ideas and figure out what's going on in this world. And it feels good to know that there are other teachers out there struggling or not struggling or getting it and like having those great days too. And I want to be a part of that community. So this is me doing that. My channel is uniquely sped. I know that there are special education vloggers and YouTubers out there, but I don't see them as often as I see a lot of the gen ed teachers or the inclusion teachers or the art teachers or these amazing high school and middle school and elementary teachers. So I wanted to put that spin on everything and kind of throw it out there and become a part of this amazing community as well. So it is nice to meet you all. I am super excited to get this started and to grow and grow with everyone else and hopefully make some new friends and meet some new people along the way. So if you are interested if you're interested in keeping up with this or just kind of seeing where this goes or following along in this journey, or you're a new special education teacher or you've been a special education teacher and you're hoping that everyone else is on the struggle bus with you, follow along. Subscribe. This is Uniquely Sped. I'm Sierra Sepulveda and it is nice to meet you.